Well, you guys know I love to buy great stocks on a discount, and my favorite stock, Apple, is finally starting to fall. Growth seems to have completely stalled, and you are hearing the rumblings that Apple is finally falling out of favor with investors after a 3-year run of just complete dominance. But nobody is talking about this one point that is going to make Apple the absolute steal deal of 2024 if it continues to fall. So let's talk about that and all the reasons behind that right after you gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. And if you want to retire early and have financial freedom, make sure you check out the pinned comment down there for my new channel where that's all we discuss is financial freedom and retiring early. So check it out if you're interested in that sort of content. All right, so kind of hear me out all the way through this here, especially that last point. I promise I'll kind of tie it all together here so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from and kind of the angle I'm coming at from about this, because it's just different than anybody else out there is really talking about. So I wanted to make sure I kind of brought this to you guys and kind of brought this to light. But more importantly, why it's so important to the stock price and how it kind of ties in with the stock price more importantly. All right, so right now, Apple is firmly in last place in the AI race, kind of among the big seven, the magnificent seven, whatever the heck you want to call it. They're clearly in last place. But I think Apple not only enters the AI race significantly this year, I think they become one of the dominant players by the end of this year, maybe first quarter next year. And I'm talking about this from a business perspective, profit to the bottom line. That's what I mean whenever I'm discussing this here. So kind of keep that in mind and kind of keep that in context here. That's what I'm talking about. All those auxiliary things about AI, hey, that's great. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about from a business perspective, bottom line profit this year. That's what I'm talking about. And there are 4 reasons why I think that, and then we'll kind of discuss stock price and why this may be actually the biggest deal of the year in 2024 if Apple continues to fall. So reason number 1, Apple is never first, but usually one of the best in the end. Look, they're never first. They're usually not even fifth, sometimes not even 10th, and a lot of these sort of things. But to simply think that Apple is just has nothing to do with AI, isn't working on AI, doesn't have an AI strategy, all of which I've heard over the past, really, since the beginning of the year, this year, I've heard all those narratives out there in the media and on YouTube. That's just foolishness. It's silliness. Things are actually moving exactly how things move in Apple land there. And unfortunately, that means we don't get a lot of information out here in the real world outside of rumors and such like that. So we know that's kind of Apple's track record. They're never first, but man, whenever they finally enter the market, they are absolutely one of the best. Reason number 2, AI will integrate within the ecosystem. Nobody has an ecosystem like Apple does. Nobody, guys. Nothing works more seamless in terms of in the ecosystem, or it's just easier to use or anything else than the way Apple kind of gets you and kind of locks you in. Now imagine AI not only making it more seamless, but kind of supercharging the entire ecosystem and kind of creating a bunch of possibilities that weren't possible before, but are going to be possible after they figure it out and after they start implementing it into the actual Apple ecosystem. It is just the possibilities there are completely mind-blowing when you really think about it, and it's really an endless possibility as to what it can do for Apple. Which kind of leads me to number 3, which is Apple has all the personal data. If you use Apple, nobody has more data on you than Apple does. And of course, since most people kind of get locked into the ecosystem, they have data on all kinds of things. Think about just how much you put up on your phone, much less, what you do with your AirPods, for example, or your iPad or your computer or any of the other things that are within the Apple ecosystem. They're working with a giant amount of data on you personally to provide personalized AI for you in general. AI, I agree, is really great and the possibilities are great. But having personalized AI is absolutely next level, and nobody has come close to even figuring out AI, much less personalized AI. Apple could be the first to do that at scale, and that is absolutely game-changing in the AI race. And it's really a kind of angle on AI that I'm not sure anybody else outside of Apple can make this big of a run at, this big of a stab at. So let's jump over here to the last reason. And guys, this one right here is the most important. If you can poo-poo on all the other ideas all you want. Okay, I got it. I understand that. Not everybody's sold on Apple or likes Apple, whatever the case is. But reason number 4 is probably the biggest reason why I'm making this case. And that would be, they would be the first to really monetize AI itself to huge profits. Now, slow down, slow down, slow down. I'm not talking about hardware like NVIDIA has to where they're basically selling the hardware in order for you to use AI and everything. I'm not talking about that sort of thing. I'm talking about what AI actually produces and then actually turns it into a monetization tool for huge profits Nobody among the Magnificent Seven has figured that out yet. Nobody's figured that out yet. Sorry, ChatGPT was supposed to be this huge game-changing, money-making machine, and it's not. Look at Microsoft's earnings. You tell me how much it's actually impacting the bottom line. Same with Google, same with everybody else who's involved in this process. Nobody has really figured out how to monetize it yet. So I think Apple's going to be the first to monetize it at scale. I'm talking on a large scale there, and it fits right in line with exactly what Apple does. Regardless of whether you like Apple's products, whether you think you can tell me, hey, they're not innovating anymore like they used to. I would agree with that. I can't argue that. But I would also argue on the flip side, that's great. They still managed to crush profit margins and everything else and have record profits after record profits, despite the fact they're not innovating anymore. So nobody to me is better out there, especially among the Magnificent Seven, at making products that just generate profits than Apple is. So there's no doubt in my mind, they're not going to bring this to market unless it can absolutely generate a lot of profits. Heck, even their failures still are very, very profitable failures. Everybody would love to have profitable failures, not failures that absolutely drain from your bottom line. Apple just seems to, yeah, it's not a hit, but it still made us money. That's kind of the way things work with Apple. But that still doesn't answer the question, why is Apple potentially the biggest deal in the stock market this year if it continues to fall? Well, if Apple follows their typical pattern, which it seems like they're doing that with AI, they're not going to announce anything until it's ready and it's going to come out. They're not like a lot of these other folks talking about their AI things that are years away or a decade away or all that sort of stuff. They keep everything really, really tight knit, really, really close and just quiet. They don't do that like other folks do. I've heard lots of talks from, you name it, all the Magnificent Seven out there have talked about their various AI products and what they're doing and what they're going to do in the future and 5 years from now and 10 years from now and some other things like that. But Apple will wait until they actually have a product that's ready to go and monetized. And then at that stage, they're going to announce it. So because they don't announce things years in advance, they haven't really ridden the AI hype like a lot of other folks have. And traders have inevitably started to beat down the stock. And if they don't announce anything next quarter and the quarterly numbers are stagnant, which we all think iPhone sales and a lot of other things are going to be stagnant over the course of the next couple of quarters, Wall Street is going to continue to beat that stock down. That's just how Wall Street typically does it. Now, it's not guaranteed, but that's what I think is going to happen. They're going to continue to beat down Apple stock. Then all of a sudden, bang, there's an AI announcement and the next iPhone series or the next series of devices or the next round of devices are going to all have this AI-enabled thing with their slick presentation and everything else that they have. And I think at that stage, then you're going to have a total reversal in the stock. But prior to that, it's going to be an absolute steal as Wall Street continues to beat it down and beat it down. Now, to me, we're not all the way to bargain prices yet. We're not there yet. We're kind of just now starting to get the fair value. And of course, if we see, EPS fall or, revenue actually go down or something like that, we may actually need to see the stock fall more in order for it to really hit a deeply undervalued territory and really be that great deal. But it's absolutely a possibility this year if quarters continue to tick away and Apple does not perform up to earnings, which of course makes an announcement like this and like this kind of coming into the ecosystem that is Apple a massive, massive deal. We haven't had an iPhone super cycle in a really long time. And boy, would this ever set off the next super cycle in iPhones and in Apple in general if all of a sudden it is completely integrated with this Apple AI, whatever the heck it would be. And like I said, it's a valid criticism to say they haven't innovated, they haven't done a lot of things on the innovation side of the house. I would agree. But to say they're not going to do things that are not incredibly profitable is absolutely silly too. They're going to make this extremely profitable for Apple, for the company itself. So if we get a beatdown, that's what I'm talking about. It could very well be the steal deal of 2024 by the end of the year this year. Now, of course, if they don't announce it this year, well, as an Apple shareholder, I'm probably in for a little bit more pain. I may have to wait until next year. But at some point in time, Apple is going to make this announcement. It is going to be massive. And this is kind of where I think they're going to take this. And I think it's going to generate huge profits for Apple right now, or not right now. Whenever they announce it and it actually hits, that's where you're going to see huge profit generation. Not 3 years from here, not 5 years from now. Whenever they make that announcement, that right there is when they're going to start seeing that revenue start coming in whenever those products go live. And of course, us as shareholders, if we get beaten down like that, you guys know I own a ton of it, but I'm happy to buy more anytime Wall Street wants to get stupid. So I'm hoping they get stupid with this one in the meantime. And if you want to see those buys in real time and see my price target for Apple, take 5 courses for free, use our stock analyzer for free, or a ton more, make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and see if a membership's right for you, where you get all that. You get access to the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. You can slide into my DMs, jump on our live Q&As. We have so much going on in there, guys. It's awesome. I love this community, and we're continuing to grow it. We got a lot of big things coming. Later on this year, we got a lot of big things coming. So make sure you check out the pinned comment, see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.